Well, good evening, everyone. It's now about 6:30 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board meeting on this 18th day of March,
Recording in
2025.
progress.
Sorry, Tom. I ask everyone to please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Gopal, will you lead us?
Yes, sir, thank you. Lord, we meet here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. We thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As always, Mark, appreciate that. Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Lorraine.
Present.
Krug is absent. Tucker is absent. Clark.
Present.
Gopal. Here. Kessler.
Here.
Reed is absent. You have 4 members present.
All right, thanks, Tom. I'd like to know for the record that Township Attorney Jack Belzer, our Operations Manager Tom Broker, our Zoning Administrator Mike Deem, Fire Chief Ryan Volz are also present this evening. Additionally, the following township officials are present via Zoom. Our township engineers.
Melissa's here.
Melissa, I didn't know you're going to be here tonight. Actually, our township engineer Melissa Lawrence is present here this evening. Tom, will you detail the procedures for those attending tonight's virtual meeting?
The assessors on Zoom.
Oh, Julia, I forgot you. Also, our assessor, Julia Wilson, is also on Zoom.
Oh, she's on Zoom.
Yeah.
So to the members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised this meeting is being recorded to be shown on Public Access TV, Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphone muted until we reach portions of the meeting where public comment is allowed. For tonight's meeting, there's one public hearing, the continuation of the Glen Devon Water Improvement Special Assessment hearing, during which public comment will be taken. All other public comment will be taken near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on the township's website at fentontownship.org.
All right, thanks, Tom. Moving on to the first business in order is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? Hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine.
Yes.
Reed is absent. Clark.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Kessler.
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker is absent. Motion carries.
All right, thanks, Tom. The agenda stands approved as presented. Moving on to the next business order is the meeting minutes. Including the packet are the meeting minutes from the March 4th regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes? Hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Well, tonight we have a presentation, the Genesee County Metropolitan Planning Commission, its US 23 corridor traffic study. Tonight, Jacob Maurer from the Genesee County Metropolitan Planning Commission and Cheryl Gregory from Rowe Professional Services are here this evening to discuss the results of the US 23 corridor traffic study. Welcome, Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. As Vince Lorraine mentioned, my name is Jacob Maurer. I'm a division manager at the Genesee County Planning Commission. My role in the transportation division is to carry out federal and state funding to make sure that those are being captured at the federal and state level, and we're able to improve our transportation network throughout the county. That includes the roadway network, pedestrian network, vehicular traffic, and so on. And so I just want to give a quick introduction on the origins of this study. So working at Genesee County, and again, I'm going to thank you for switching the slide. So if working at Genesee County, we wanted constant communication with our local officials of what do we need to look at in the future for our transportation network. We understand that there's intermittent congestion along US 23. There's always, seems always traffic delays. There seems to be issues at interchanges. What can we do to make improvements of that, and also make improvements from a coordinated situation, not just one township, one city. Let's make improvements that help the entire county. And so thanks in part to funding from federal highways, along with funding from the Genesee County Board of Commissioners. We were able to start the US 23 study about a year ago. Cheryl Gregory, who represents Rowe Engineering, her team has been great in guiding us through this process and being able to get us to the finish line and provide some recommendations. And hopefully, our goal is to actually put these recommendations to real projects so that we can make some fast changes to our network. So just want to go ahead and turn this over to Cheryl.
Welcome, Cheryl.
Good evening, Supervisor Lorraine, and all board members. Thanks for allowing us to make this presentation and update you on the status of the study. As you see on the slide, the study area is pretty big. It's about 13 miles long, and it's in the southern portion of the urban boundary of Flint. It goes directly through the city of Fenton, Fenton Township, and Mundy Township. And it also includes not only the US 23 corridor, but a 2-mile reach of the major local cross streets on Hill Road, Grand Blanc Road, Thompson Road, North and Torrey Road, Silver Lake Road, and Owen Road. Forward, please. So the overall project does actually go to the northern limit of Bristol, although the Bristol Road interchange was studied previously by MDOT, so it's not included in this study, but all of the other interchanges that I just mentioned are included in it as well. I also want to mention that in parallel to the county study, MDOT, Michigan Department of Transportation, is wrapping up a study of their own along the I-75 corridor to the east that starts on M15 down by Clarkston all the way up to I-69. So we've been in coordination with their study team because at the very north end there where we merge at US 23, plus where their study includes recommendations on the interchanges at 23 to get traffic easterly to I-75, there's a little bit of overlap. So I would just want you to be aware that MDOT has this study going on at the same time and that we are in coordination with them. So you'll see that published probably within the next couple of months, just as you'll see our study, our US 23 study completed and published and posted on the county's website. Forward, please. So the study team included a steering committee, forward please, that included several agencies, cities of Fenton and Linden, Mundy Township, Grand Blanc Township, Fenton Township, MDOT, the Genesee County Road Commission, Flint's MTA, Bishop Airport, and then of course the Metropolitan Planning Commission for Genesee County. Key stakeholders, other key stakeholders were included, LAF Pathway Group, the Linden Schools, Lake Fenton Schools, the Carmen Ainsworth Schools, and General Motors. Thirdly, we had a lot of input from the general public. We conducted a public information survey. We had over 450 respondents. 300 respondents chose to take the time to make comments, and we had 350 individual comments, which our study team reviewed and categorized. All of that information is on the county's website under, I think it's survey public involvement. So if you're interested in looking at all the specific comments and who was most concerned about what, we had safety issues, we had congestion, non-motorized trails, streetscaping, travel times. We tried to prioritize that and then make sure that our study and our recommendations addressed all of those issues. Forward, please. Forward, please. Specifically, Fenton Township's input was provided at 2 different times. We reached out independently to stakeholders directly, and once October 23, just before the official study started, the township personnel provided input to Jacob, and then on July 24, we followed up with additional questions, and we had some great input from Supervisor Lorraine, Melissa Lawrence, and then Michael Deems. So appreciate the time that they spent to offer that input. It shaped how we addressed recommendations and how we looked at the final report, basically. Forward, please. Some of the questions we asked, do you anticipate your community growing in the future? Where are transportation bottlenecks and or barriers in your community? What public infrastructure improvements would benefit your planned growth, such as transit services, EV infrastructure, water or sewer, telecom, other kinds of utilities? One of the most important things that the Fenton Township personnel provided was the idea that the county can help implement planned improvements. It's the Metropolitan Planning Commission's role, of course, to assist with that. And if communities aren't using their road funding allocations, it should be made available to other communities that have program needs. And that's always been the idea, to maximize the benefit of funding coming into the communities and make sure that this area is taking advantage of the potential resources. Forward, please. As we were putting the document together, our study together, we wanted to make sure that we weren't recreating the wheel or overlooking other planning efforts that have come before us. So we looked at existing community planning documents for land use, future developments, corridor studies, non-motorized plans. At the county level, we looked at the long-range transportation plan, the TIP, the Transportation Improvement Plan, regional priorities, and then the Regional Traffic Safety Plan, and then MDOT. We coordinated with MDOT and looked at what their 5-year transportation plan had for this area. Another source of information we used as we were putting this together is we looked at traffic data, not just looking at the actual volumes out there. We did collect actual volumes, but we looked broader. We utilized big data. A company called Street-Like Data provides very detailed aggregate data for a whole area. It's a very powerful tool. It allows us to look at volumes not just at specific locations, but in a region, in a footprint. So we use this in the graphic you see on the board is an example of where we looked at traffic going east and west. I think that was on Silver Lake. Anyways, east and west, but not only just the total volume, but where is that traffic going? They can track it by cell phones and by the devices in vehicles and commercial vehicles. So we looked at, for example, the origin on the screen on the west side of the freeway. We kind of created a gateway, looked at the total number of vehicles traveling eastbound at that particular point during PM peak, the PM rush hour, and then as the traffic goes easterly, where is it peeling off? So we looked at how many of those vehicles are actually seeking US 23, northbound or southbound, or destinations within the vicinity of the interchange, and then what percentage is continuing easterly to a different regional destination. So that was really important to see where the needs were for improved access. And then when you look at the growth that the county and statewide travel demand models show, where would be the anticipated needs for volume and capacity improvements. So we also shared this information with the I-75 corridor study because they wanted to know how much traffic was continuing easterly towards I-75. It's a very powerful tool. Next, please. So our study will identify short and long-term alternatives, as Supervisor Lorraine mentioned. We wanted to see what you could plan for in long-term, the 3 to 5, maybe 10-year plan, and what you could do in the interim that could improve safety, congestion, in the short term, less than 3 years. We categorize that as less than 3 years. So for the US 23 corridor, the mainline corridor, we are identifying geometric and safety improvements, looking for ways to improve the signing and pavement markings, and then the merge and weave movements, as you're probably very familiar with at Silver Lake and Torrey and North Road. So we have recommendations there. At the interchanges, we evaluated for long-term, we looked at reconstructions. We considered geometric reconfigurations. Some of the short-term involved traffic signal modernizations or optimization, and minor operational improvements like adding turn lanes. And then the local road corridors, those 2-mile segments east and west of the freeway, we also considered traffic signal modernizations, optimization, lane operational improvements, access management, if there were driveways that we thought could be combined or eliminated or shared, the most opportunities to do that. And then where non-motorized facilities would likely be a benefit, right-of-way issues, and what the regional or community non-motorized plans recommended. Made sure there was overlap there. I'm not going to cover all of the interchanges. I'm going to start at Thompson Road and work southerly. If there's any questions about interchanges to the north, kind of farther away from the township, I'm happy to answer any questions. But I'll start with Thompson Road. Y'all know that there is a project going forward. But for the short term, we do think that there's a benefit to looking at signal timing modifications at Torrey Road and at the northbound and southbound US 23 ramps within, before the actual reconstruction of the interchange comes. This could provide some improvements to the turning movements and the congestion at those signals. They'd operate a bit more efficiently. Next, please. And then, of course, the dual roundabouts that have already been determined as the best solution for the interchange. That design is proceeding forward. MDOT has that underway, and I believe they're looking at a 3 to 4 year implementation on that once design is done. North and Torrey Road, another short-term solution there is signal optimization and extending the right turn storage lane on the US 23 off-ramps to improve the pavement markings, especially on the southbound US 23 off exit ramp to North Road. The crash data didn't reveal a high number of crashes there, but when we're out there, we see all the runoffs. We see all the tire tracks in that curve is so sharp. So we want to make sure that we address improved pavement markings. There's enhanced pavement markings we can recommend there, and then some signing. Next, please. But the long-term solutions revealed that roundabouts work very well at these three-legged intersections. So that's our long-term recommendation for each of those interchanges. Single-lane roundabouts, the volumes out there don't warrant a double-lane roundabout, which makes it a pretty cost-effective solution to move the traffic way quicker in those intersections. At Silver Lake Road, again, short-term solutions would be to update some signage and pavement markings on Silver Parkway as it approaches Silver Lake Road, and make signal timing modifications at the ramps, southbound US 23 ramp, North Fenway Drive, and North Poplar Street. Now this corridor offered the most improvement long-term, but it's a pretty dramatic improvement, a pretty dramatic change. Next, please. We know that the city of Fenton intends to widen Silver Lake to a 5-lane cross-section. They had already planned on that. They're working on acquiring the funding for it between Silver Parkway and Poplar Street. So assuming that that goes forward, and they've assured us that that is their intent, the long-term solution once that 5-lane section is constructed is to go with signal optimization, apply signal optimization through the whole corridor. And then we looked at 3 other alternatives because the northbound US 23 exit ramp is pretty squirrely right there next to Fenway to the east. It's very congested. So we looked at building a roundabout at that northbound exit ramp. We also looked at dual roundabouts, one at the northbound exit ramp at Silver Lake Road and just to the east, another roundabout at Fenway Drive. It was tough. It was going to be tough to fit it in, and we figured it would be very hard for many people to navigate. So the third one, forward please. The third option was actually a concept that the city had already sketched out themselves and had already begun working on acquiring right-of-way. And that was to realign Fenway to the east to align with Poplar Street. And they've already got some of the right-of-way acquired. We'd have to work out some details on how we would continue to maintain access at Fenway Drive at Silver Lake. But those are details that will be worked out in design. This alternative seems to be the most effective for long-term growth. We would still have the roundabout at the northbound US 23 exit ramps, but with Fenway Drive realigned to the east, it moves all of that access traffic away from the interchange and would really make a big improvement in safety in that area. The southbound ramp.
Recording in progress.
The southbound ramp on the west side of the freeway actually works fine with a modernized signal. The volumes there weren't tremendous, and because there's not another major road like Fenway Drive right near it, it's not as problematic. So that's why the graphic up there is really only focusing on the northbound exit ramps and then Fenway and Poplar. Owen Road, short-term solution, similar to the previous one, signal optimization, and then making a minor improvement to the northbound off-ramp, basically extending the northbound off-ramp about 250 feet to provide additional storage capacity. And then a long-term, the next slide please. The long-term would be just to add an additional exit ramp lane for left turn movements. No right-of-way would be needed there. It would just be the capital cost of construction. I'm including this slide because I want Fenton Township to know that once the study is done, it's going to be uploaded to the county's website, but it's going to be structured so that you can click on the local road corridor, whether it's Owen or Silver Lake Road, and just get the pertinent information from the study for those corridors. You don't have to sift through the 600 pages of study if you don't want to. You can just click on it and it'll take you directly to all the study information relative to that corridor. And that will be posted within, I'm going to say, about 30 days. We're very close to wrapping it up. And with that, are there any questions for me? I know I went
Does
fast.
anybody on the board have any questions at all? Any comments?
Well, I would think that those areas need to be addressed that you're talking about, seriously. It's just, matter of fact, I almost seen an accident today. And, you know, right there around the curve of 23 and, was it North Road? Or, yeah, North Road, and it's just like, I'm just waiting to see something tragically happen there. I hope it doesn't happen, but it may have already happened that I don't know of, but hopefully it doesn't. But I'm glad those areas are being addressed for sure.
Well, hopefully one benefit of having this study in one place is that the communities can see what in the corridor is planned long-term. So when it comes to looking at utility improvements, or if you're revisiting your master plan, it gives you an idea of what other corridor improvements along US 23 are slated, or at least considered. So you don't have to recreate the wheel, and you can talk to your neighbors about what you think would be the best based on how things change every year.
Cheryl, I just have one, and it's not specific to the US 23 corridor study, but since I was part of the first meeting with MDOT on the roundabouts for the bridge, or when we obtained the money for the bridge, it's been an eye-opener for me, and I guess I would like to ask, going forward, I was not a fan of roundabouts until about a month in, and then I thought, my God, this is the greatest thing in the world. Not only for energy savings, keeping the traffic moving, safety was my number one thing. And because when you come up to a roundabout, most people are hesitant, they slow down. And I started looking at the data from MDOT. I requested it, they gave me data as far as, you know, if there's an accident, it's a fender bender, you know, whereas, you know, if you're driving at 2 o'clock in the morning, you come up to a red light and you're on the green side, I usually end up almost stopping anyway. So the point is, I guess my question is that going forward, I know that they don't work in all applications, but shouldn't we be looking to use those on any new roadway that instead of putting a light, would be putting a roundabout? Because it seems to be like, you know, I look at, my goal was to put one at Thompson Road, at Fenton Road. Because it's 13 seconds if you're on Thompson Road, and it's 1 minute and 30-some seconds going on Fenton Road. And you sit there, and it's so inefficient. And so, anyway, I didn't mean to keep going on, but can you explain, I mean, what is the future plans for roundabouts?
First of all, thank you for acknowledging their safety. That is the main reason to use a roundabout. The number of accidents may go up slightly, but you don't have the injuries, you don't have the fatalities. The severity drops significantly, and it is measurable, and it has been measured over the last 20 years. So in Michigan specifically. Nationally, there are other states out west, as they were growing their network with new roads, Colorado, out in that area, they were more on the forefront of constructing them. So we have a lot of data from the western states, but Michigan for sure for the last 20 years. That said, the county actually conducted a roundabout study for all of Genesee County. That is on their website, and you can look at all 3,600 federal aid intersections in Genesee County and how they ranked. So what we did during that study is we looked at, first of all, you know, were they feasible? First of all, was the volume suitable for a roundabout? Were the geometrics suitable for a roundabout? And then we looked at other constraints, utilities, if it made sense, if there were already plans to do something in the corridor. And then we listed, I think we've got 12 or 13, maybe 14 recommended locations to construct roundabouts in Genesee County, and I think there are a couple in your township that are on that list. So the county has already looked at all 3,600, and of course times change, developments change. One of the things that we don't recommend is putting a roundabout at a road that is gravel. It should be, all legs of the roundabout need to be paved. And that might change. Where we had gravel roads during our study, if a road gets paved, it might rank differently in the future. But absolutely, the county has already investigated all of the federal aid intersections in the county, and they're proposing that a community consider that if you're going to look for safety improvements and intersection improvements.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from the board?
Not only safety, but moving traffic, much more efficient than any other traffic signal device.
It's true.
And just for my own, you say that accidents are up. Numerically, they're up. I could see that, but again, we're still they're new, and people are learning to use them. I see people still stop every time. It doesn't matter if there's no one in the roundabout, they completely stop. So I think it's a learning. I think that you're going to see accidents go down. Safety is off the charts. I know that. But I think in time, I think you'll see accidents go down also as people learn to use them.
Absolutely, but it's that the severity already drastically. Nobody dies in a fender bender.
Fender bender.
So, thank
Or
goodness.
at 2 o'clock in the morning because someone ran a red light.
Yep, or left turns where you get T-boned and,
Yep.
yeah.
All right, no other questions? Cheryl, Jacob, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the next business is expenditures. Are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion regarding the payment of expenditures totaling $398,862.66 for payment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Tom, please call the roll.
Krug is absent. Clark?
Yes.
Kessler?
Yes.
Reed is absent. Gopel?
Yes.
Tucker is absent. Lorraine?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, expenditures stand approved as presented. Next business order is public hearing. Tonight we have the continuation of the Glen Devon Water System Improvement Special Assessment District. This is a continuation of the public hearing on the special assessment role for the Glen Devon Water System Improvement Special Assessment District, which began at the March 4th meeting. I'm sure we've all reviewed the memo in our packets, but Operations Manager Broke, will you go over any additional details or the latest developments?
Well, just to kind of summarize, just before, not long before the last meeting, we found out about a significant increase, about $120,000 to the project. And so that was the main reason that the hearing, that the board voted to continue the hearing tonight, so we could notify everybody of that change, since that had not been communicated. And since then, the county has agreed to remove the requirement that was adding the extra costs. So now the costs are back down close to what they were before that change. I think it was about 2% higher than what it was before, but not significant. So what we're looking at now is a revised assessment roll totaling $755,080, which is still 25% higher than the original estimate from last year, but a lot of that is due to additional components added at the request of the property owners in the association. So the end result is a per unit assessment of $57,2031, which would be spread over 20 years with interest.
All right, thanks, Tom. All right, the board will now accept public comment on the following: the increased project cost, an individual's assessment in relation to the benefit received, the total cost of the project, and the validity of the proceedings to date. All right, is there anyone here that has joined us this evening that would like to address the board? Yes, sir. All we'd ask you to come up and just state your name.
I'm Al Moneta. I'm president of the board of directors at Glen Devon. And we're pleased to see that we're able to save more than $100,000. And I think from what we've been able to figure out, several people have helped us in making more sense of what was happening and what we were being required to do. So we would like to go ahead with this as soon as possible. And I noticed that there's something else on your agenda about our project, so we would like to move ahead as much as possible. And if you'd like to hear comments from our engineer, Mike Piper's also here, and he can tell you a little bit more about what happened and how that happened.
No, thank you very much. Do you want to come up?
Sure.
Good evening, board. It's good to see everybody tonight. And basically, what had happened at the last meeting was primarily, there was a requirement that was made for a SCADA system, and that was really the issue. The way that I got my cost, I didn't estimate it. I sent it to a contractor, and I got a price from a contractor that actually furnishes all the parts and equipment, and then talked to a local mechanical contractor, and he is the one that told me basically it would cost around $100,000 for the SCADA system. I was in the process of verifying that through our contractor when we got word from the county that they were going to remove that request from their initial letter that required it. So since that's no longer an issue, there are no other issues that have to be resolved. We just need to now get the final plan approval and get it sent to the state for the state permits and move forward with the project as soon as we have those permits in place. So other than that, I don't have anything to add other than everything now is worked out, and I think we're ready to move ahead. And thank you for your help to get everything clarified too.
All right, thank you.
So does anybody have any questions about the project or anything that transpired with that? Okay, thank you.
All right, is there anyone else that's present here tonight that would like to address the board? I didn't, all I'd ask you is just state your name.
Yeah, I'm Glenn Murray, and I'm on the board of Glen Devon. And there are two things. One thing I would like to reiterate, thank you to all of you for what you've done to get the amount of money reduced. I know that you went bat for this community. And I know that I messaged Tom Broker many times, and he's been very efficient about answering any questions that I have. I've only lived here 3 years, the first time I've ever been on the board. So I'd like to thank him, and plus all of you, how fast that you get back to us. One thing he says to me is that it's my job. Well, it might be your job, but I've also been in other government questions that I've had since I've been on the board, and I've yet to hear from them a year later. So I appreciate all of that. And then one of the other questions a member from our community asked if, like when this gets done, that goes on the December tax roll, because his taxes are less in the summertime than they are in the wintertime, is there a way that that can be on the tax roll for the summer? I mean, if you can answer that.
Well,
It was just asked.
While it's not illegal to put special assessments on the summer roll, we don't as a matter of policy, because it creates a lot of balancing issues if we're splitting them up. And so they do go on the winter tax roll.
Okay. He's here, so he heard your answer. And thank you again.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else here present that would like to address the board? Again, we're just talking about Glen Devon water system. Anyone else?
I'd like to give credit to our supervisor for his negotiational skills to reduce the price for you guys.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Tom, did we lose?
We've lost internet twice now. I'm trying to get it.
Because I don't know if there's anybody. There was 3 people on there, and not one of them from Glen Devon, because the other 2 I know were from another issue. Oh, there they are.
Recording in progress.
Our internet is giving us trouble here. So.
All right, we're in the middle of the Glen Devon Water System Improvement Special Assessment District. I have asked anyone present if they would like to address the board. We are now, Mike?
Just hit on it. Oh, I did it again, okay.
Okay, I'll go over that again. Again, we are talking about the Glen Devon Water System Improvement Special Assessment District. I have asked anyone present if they'd like to address the board on this topic. Everyone has spoken. I will now go to Zoom. Is there anyone attending via Zoom that would like to address the board? Again, this is only on Glen Devon. All right, hearing none, I will now close the public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All right. Resolution number 2025-05. Tom, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, resolution 2025-05 confirms special assessment roll number 2025-01 is the assessment roll for the Glen Devon Water System Improvements Special Assessment District. Divides the assessment into 20 annual installments, with the first installment due December 1st, 2025. Sets the interest rate at 1% above the average interest rate on the bonds sold to finance the project. provides an early payoff option, and assesses a 1% per month penalty on late installments. Directs the clerk to deliver the special assessment roll with warrant attached to the treasurer, directs the treasurer to collect the special assessments, and repeals any conflicting resolutions.
Thanks, Tom. All right, I will entertain a motion regarding the adoption of resolution number 2025-5-05 as presented.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Tom, will you please call the roll?
Reed is absent. Gopel?
Yes.
Tucker is absent. Kessler?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Krug is absent. Clark?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
All right, thanks, Tom. Moving on to reports. Are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? Hearing none. Communications, the next business order is communications. We have none this evening. Adoption of ordinances, none. Unfinished business, none. Moving on to new business. The fire department, we have a new hire, and we have our fire chief, Chief Foltz, up here to explain. Good evening, Chief.
Told you I'd be back. We got another one. That's 3 in a month and a half. It's crazy.
That's a good thing.
Well, I'm pleased to report that we do have another applicant to join the Fenton Township Fire Department. Caden Van Houten is a Fenton Township resident. He's passed all of his background check, employment screenings, and I think he's going to be an excellent addition to the fire department, and I'm waiting for your approval so we can get him to work.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion regarding the hiring of Caden Van Houten as a member of the Fenton Township Fire Department as recommended by Fire Chief Foltz.
I will move to support the motion.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Tom, will you please call the roll?
Clark?
Yes.
Kessler?
Yes.
Krug is absent. Gopel?
Yes.
Tucker is absent. Lorraine?
Yes.
Reed is absent. Motion carries.
All right, Chief, did you want to
Call
swear him in?
Caden up here, we'll
Did
swear him
you?
in right now.
Welcome aboard, Caden. Tom will swear you in.
Okay, if you raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name. I, Caden Van Houten. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. To faithfully execute the duties. Faithfully execute the duties. Of firefighter for Fenton Township. A firefighter for Fenton Township. To selflessly serve. To selflessly serve. The citizens of Fenton Township. The citizens of Fenton Township. With respect, dedication, and integrity. With respect, dedication, and integrity. And to uphold the mission. And to uphold the mission. Of the Fenton Township Fire Department. Of the Fenton Township Fire Department. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the State of Michigan. The Constitution of the State of Michigan. And the laws and ordinances of Fenton Township. The laws and ordinances of Fenton Township. So help me God. So help me God. Thanks, sir.
Congratulations. All right, next under new business, award of contract, Glen Devon Water System Improvements. Operations Manager Broker, will you review?
All right, so with the confirmation of the assessment roll, the next step is to formally award the construction contract for the project. Craft Engineering designed and bid out the project. Mike Pfeiffer, who just spoke briefly from Craft Engineering, has recommended the contract be awarded to ProX Incorporated as the lowest priced qualified bidder. So included in the packet is a notice of award form to notify the contractor of the contract award. Based on Mr. Piper's recommendation, I'm requesting the board formally award the Glen Devon contract to ProX for the contract amount of $252,415 and authorize me to execute the notice of award on behalf of the township, and then Mr. Piper will make the arrangements to have the contract documents executed and delivered to all parties.
All right, thanks, Tom. Is there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion regarding the award of the Glen Devon Water System Improvement Contract to ProX Inc. as recommended by Craft Engineering, and to authorize Operations Manager Broker to execute the notice of award on behalf of Fenton Township.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Tom, will you please call the roll?
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker's absent. Lorraine.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Reed is absent. Kessler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Tom. All right, next under new business is resolution number 2025-06, supporting DNR permit application for Silver and Marl Lakes Canadian Goose Egg and Nest Destruction Program, and resolution number 2025-07, supporting DNR permit application for Silver and Marl Lakes Mute Swan Removal Program. The Silver and Marl Lake Homeowners Association is requesting New support resolutions to continue participation in the DNR egg and nest destruction programs for Canadian geese and mute swans. The resolutions previously approved by this board have expired and new resolutions are required for them to continue in the program. Are there any association members here tonight that would want to come on up and just kind of, if you want, just explain the program, the history, how long?
My name is Jason Russo. Again, this is a resolution that has recently expired. We're just asking for a renewal. We contract with a company, Goose Busters, who we used forever. They are used throughout the state. And it's just, the main purpose of this is with the Canadian geese and E. coli emission, you may say. The elderly, young, and those with weakened immune systems are very susceptible to E. coli. People that are not in that category, not so much an issue, but the beach has been shut down several times throughout the years, and it's our really only action that we can do to try to counteract the amount of E. coli in the area. So we're just asking for the new resolution to continue that program.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
Sure.
Appreciate it. All right. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Questions, comments? All right. Resolution number 2025-06. Tom, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, 2025-06 supports the application of the Silver and Morrow Lake Homeowners Association to participate in the MDNR Canada Goose Egg and Nest Destruction Program for the years 2025 through 2029, and also resolves that the township will not incur any costs for their participation in that program.
All right, thanks, Tom. Okay, I'll entertain a motion regarding the adoption of resolution number 2025-06 as presented.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Tom, will you call the roll?
Kessler.
Yes.
Crew is absent. Reed is absent. Lorraine.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Tucker's absent. Gopel.
No.
Motion carries.
All right. Next, resolution number 2025-07. Tom, will you please present the resolution?
2025-07 supports the application of the Silver and Morrow Lake Homeowners Association to participate in the MDNR Mute Swan Removal / Egg and Nest Destruction Program for the years 2025 through 2029, and resolves the township shall not incur any costs for their participation in the program.
Thanks, Tom. I will entertain a motion regarding the adoption of resolution number 2025-07 as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Tom, will you please call the roll?
Tucker is absent. Lorraine.
Yes.
Gopel.
No.
Kessler.
Yes.
Reed is absent. Clark.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Motion carries.
All right, thanks, Tom. Next, under new business, the approval of the meeting schedule of Fenton Township Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Our zoning administrator, Mike Deem, is here to explain.
Yeah, so as we mentioned last time, we need to actually set the schedule for the meeting, and it is on the agenda this time. So we're recommending the second Tuesday at 6:30.
Where are they gonna be at?
Here?
They all gonna be here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions or comments for Mike? This is a great step for us, Mike, creating this. I appreciate all the hard work you put into it, and I think it's going to benefit the residents going forward. So, are there any other questions or comments? Okay, I will entertain a motion regarding the proposed schedule for the Fenton Township Park and Recreation Advisory Committee to meet on the second Tuesday of each month at 6:30 p.m. here at the Fenton Township.
I'll move to approve the motion.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Tom, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker, Krug, and Reed are absent. Motion carries.
All right, thanks, Tom. Next under new business, the award of contract for the lawn, landscaping, and beach maintenance services. Operations Manager Broker, will you review?
Yes, we issued an RFP back in mid-February for lawn, landscape, and beach maintenance services for the township properties. We got 9 proposals back, which is the most I think we've ever had. There's an analysis of the proposals included in the packet Based on the projected volumes of the various services, the Fenton groundskeeper is the low bidder. Fenton groundskeeper is owned and operated by Richard Schaefer, and he's been our snow removal contractor for quite a few years, so we're familiar with his work. I did contact some of his references and got very positive feedback on the quality of his work. So based on the proposals and the reference checks, I'm recommending the board award the contract to the Fenton groundskeeper and approve the service agreement that's included in the packet.
All right, thanks, Tom. Any questions, comments from the board? All right. I will entertain a motion regarding the approval of the lawn, landscape, and beach maintenance agreements between Fenton Township and the Fenton groundskeeper as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Tom, will you please call the roll?
Kessler.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Reed is absent. Lorraine.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Tucker's absent. Motion carries.
Next under new business is Metro Act right-of-way permit application 123.net LLC. And Operations Manager, you can review that.
So we received an application, the documentation's in the packet. 123.net is proposing to install facilities to provide internet service. The area on the map, find it here. Service area map, so it's, I gotta zoom that in to see it. So it goes basically from the city boundary on Fenton Road up to Thompson Road, and then goes a little bit east and terminates there. So that's the area they're looking at. Currently, I don't know if they're planning to expand beyond that. But with these types of permits, the Metro Act requires telecommunications providers to obtain a permit from local units of government for operating within the right-of-way. Then they pay fees based on the linear footage of their facilities. State of Michigan collects the fees and distributes them to local units of government. As an example, the township, we have several of these permits already in place. We received a little over 10,000 in Metro Act fees in 2024. 123.net has provided all the required documentation, so I have no problem recommending approval of their permit.
Thanks, Tom. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, okay, I will entertain a motion regarding the application of 123.net LLC for a Metro Act right-of-way permit in Fenton Township as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Tom, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine.
Yes.
Reed is absent. Clark.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Kessler.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker's absent. Motion carries.
All right, thanks, Tom. Next under new business is resolution number 2025-08, proposed water system improvement special assessment district, Chateau de Lac. We've all reviewed the memo in our packets. Operations Manager Broker, can you provide a little additional detail?
Yes, so the board will recall that Chateau de Lac approached the township regarding potentially connecting to the township, to the municipal water supply, and doing that by special assessment. So they've since filed petitions to create a special assessment district. Signatures on the petition submitted represented approximately 58% of the total land area, which is the calculation that is required for the statute, with 22 of 42 properties represented on the petition, which is still over 50%. It's our understanding there may be a few more petitions trickle in, so that percentage could go higher, but this is enough to initiate the process. So the next step in the process is to conduct a public hearing on the creation of the actual special assessment district. So in the packet is Resolution 2025-08, which acknowledges receipt of the petitions and schedules the public hearing for April 1st.
Thanks, Tom. Any questions or comments from the board? All right. Resolution number 2025-08. Tom, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, 2025-08 tentatively declares the township's intent to construct water system improvements for the Chateau de Lac condominium subdivision. Tentatively designates the special assessment district as Chateau de Lac Water System Improvement Special Assessment District, which includes all units in the Chateau de Lac condominium subdivision. Schedules a public hearing for April 1st, 2025. Directs the clerk to publish and mail the hearing notice in accordance with statute and repeals any conflicting resolutions.
All right, thanks, Tom. I will now entertain a motion regarding the adoption of resolution number 2025-08 as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Tom, will you please call the roll?
Krug is absent. Clark.
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Reed is absent, Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker is absent, Lorraine.
Yes.
Motion carries, resolution is adopted.
All right, thanks, Tom. Next under new business, resolution number 2025-09, scheduled hearing on special assessment roll, landings at Cranes Cove Water System Improvement Special Assessment District. And again, we should have all reviewed the memo in our packets. Tom, do you want to give a little additional detail?
So the board created a special assessment district for landings at Cranes Cove July of last year. The project has now been designed and bid out. The township engineer provided updated total cost based on the low bid. And the special assessment roll has been created based on that low bid. So the revised total assessment amount is $510,924, and it is significantly higher than the original cost estimate. And because it's more than 10%, the hearing will also include an opportunity for comment on the increased cost in addition to the hearing on the roll. So the next step in the process is to adopt a resolution to schedule that hearing.
All right, thanks, Tom. Okay, I will entertain a motion regarding the adoption of resolution number 2025-09 as presented.
Move to approve the motion.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Tom, will you please call the roll?
Reed is absent, Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker is absent, Kessler.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Reed is absent, Clark.
Yes.
Motion carries, resolution is adopted.
All right. Next under new business is resolution number 2025-10, scheduled hearing on special assessment roll, Haddon Street Improvement Special Assessment District. And again, we should have all reviewed. Tom, additional details.
So the road commission just opened the bids yesterday. They were very good about getting the numbers to me yesterday afternoon. The low bid was $559,000, which was only about 3.5% higher than their original estimate from 2 years ago, which was really good. So the special assessment roll has been created, certified by the supervisor and filed with the clerk. And the next step in the process is to schedule the hearing. And so resolution 2025-10, just run right into that.
You're just going to read the resolution?
I'll just segue right into it.
You got
Acknowledges
it.
the filing of the special assessment roll with the clerk and its availability for review until the public hearing. Schedules the public hearing on the special assessment roll at the April 1st board meeting. Directs the clerk to publish and mail the notice of hearing according to statute and repeals any conflicting resolutions.
All right. The resolution's been presented. I'll now entertain a motion regarding the adoption of resolution number 2025-10 as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Just a question. Did we really, from low to high, is over 100% different?
On the bids?
Yeah.
It's pretty, it's amazing. I think their contractors decide they don't really want the work, but
Okay.
they'll do it if they get this much money for it. Yeah, we've seen that in a couple of projects
I
where
get that one,
there's
but
a
I
big
mean,
range.
Yeah, there's a huge range there.
Yeah, I know when, I think when Glenn Devin did theirs, he had one real high bid that was kind of off the chart. So, yeah, it does happen.
All right. Any other questions? All right.
So we
Oh.
had the motion and the second, we haven't done the vote yet.
Okay. All right. Tom, will you please call the roll?
Clark,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Krug is absent, Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker's absent, Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed is absent, motion carries.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Next business order is board comment. Is there anyone on the board who has additional comments or concerns? Hearing none, we'll move on to public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. We will now open up the meeting for public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. Is there anyone here present that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Okay, hearing none, I'll move on to Zoom. Is there anyone attending via Zoom tonight that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? All right, I will now close public comment, and it is now 7:24 p.m. Have a good evening. We are adjourned.